think we shall start, isn't it? Samit?
Yes, Swamiji, we can see.
Yeah, thank you. Jananim Sharadam Devi Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhum Namashri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukaswarupaya Swamine Tapaharini. Yeah, dear devotees, the author is raising a very important question today. So before going to subject, I would like to tell probably one or two important points as we, the students of Advaita Vedanta, the non-dualistic philosophy, which we all of us will be facing. Especially when we give examples to understand the Advaita Vedanta concept, sometimes we will not be able to make the link with the concepts, or will not be able to connect with our own understandings or with the lives also. For an instance, we always tell, now you see, in dream, the mind itself plays the role of the experiencer, the experienced, that is the objects, whatever we experience, and the act of experience, that is experiencing. For an example, I went to ice cream bar and I purchased the ice cream and I'm eating ice cream. Now, I am eating the ice cream, so I am experiencing the taste of ice cream, so I am experiencer. Now, what I'm experiencing? I'm experiencing the ice cream. That is called experienced. Now, I am eating the ice cream, and so I'm experiencing the ice cream. That act is called experiencing. Now, the physical body is at rest. The senses are at rest. We don't have any contact with the external world in the sleep and during the dream state, but still we experience all these things. How it is possible? It is so real. We are eating the ice cream. The scriptures say that it is nothing but the mind. The mind itself is taking, or it takes the role of all the three things: experiencer, experiencing, and experienced. So just like the mind itself is creating, projecting the whole world, and it is experiencing, so even same thing is with the waking state. The waking state is a long dream. That's all. That's what the scriptures, and especially Mandukya Upanishad or Karika, tells it. When we hear this, when we hear about the dream experience, and when we hear the analysis of the dream experience, and when we understand, when we hear that the dream experience is not the real, it is negated during the waking experience, which doesn't have any value or which loses its value. When we hear this, we understand it. We accept it. It makes some sense. But the problem comes when the so-called waking state is also a long dream. Just like in the dream we experienced, the so-called in the waking experience are also our experiencing, but that is also just like a dream. When we hear this, out of faith, out of respect or reverence to Shastras, to scriptures, we may listen, we may hear, or at the most we may believe, but we feel, really speaking, how is it possible? Dream experience, yes, we can understand what the Swami is saying or what the scriptures are saying. How it is possible with the waking state also? It doesn't make any sense. Maybe it may not be very logical. Maybe it may be hypothetical. This problem, this doubt should linger in our mind. It can linger in the mind. Now, the very important point we have to understand is, when we were experiencing the dream, we didn't understand, we didn't know, we were not aware that it is a dream and it doesn't have any reality. It doesn't have any real value. When we were in the dream, when we were experiencing the dream, that was real for us. Only when we came to waking state, when we shifted our state of existence from dream state of experience to the waking state experience, then only we came to know that that is a dream. It doesn't have any reality. The reality of that state or experience has been negated from the waking state. Now, when the scriptures say the waking state is also long dream, it also doesn't have the real value, whatever we are thinking. Satyatva buddhi, when we say, or when we hear, it becomes hypothetical for us, because we may not accept it, or our experience doesn't believe in it or accept or whatever say. Why? Because just like when we are in dream, say for an example, argument's sake, you are having some dream, and in the dream class, in the dream, Swami Shantivratananda came and said, oh my dear, whatever you are enjoying the ice cream, experiencing the ice cream, that is a dream. That is no real ice cream actually. It is only dream. It doesn't have any value. When if I had said, probably in the dream also, I have not left you there also, then you would have listened and you would have said, Swamiji, probably you have become too much Vedantin, better come, we will give ice cream for you also enjoy. You would not have believed it, or even you might have believed, but you would not have been confirmed. It would not have been confirmed for you. But the moment when you came to, waking state, then only that became the matter of experience that it is a dream. So similarly, we are trying to negate the experience of the waking state, staying in the waking state, which has become the difficulty for all of us. So initially, probably we have to have the faith in the scriptures, because they have experienced, and that such type of people have written scriptures. So based on the faith and logical arguments, we have to believe, and we keep on continuing our spiritual practices. When intellectual conviction comes, and when we experience the highest reality, at least to a certain extent, then we'll be able to understand, and we'll be able to have the glimpse of what is reality. And when we reach the Turiya state, or when we experience the transcendental experience, when we have, then definitely we'll be able to understand what this waking state is also, or why the scriptures are saying that this waking state is also a long dream or a big dream. So this you have to understand very clearly. Maybe I'll give one more example. Just a piece of rope, a standard example, rope and snake. A piece of rope was in the corner of an house. There was no complete light, nor it was complete dark. That was a dim light. And because of the similarity of the shape and whatever, so we mistook it as a snake. And we shouted, we feared, and our BP got probably increased. Sweating came, then probably would have brought the stick or whatever. Because at that moment, our experience of it as a snake was real, no doubt. That cannot be negated at all. Only because of someone's help, or because I put the torchlight, or I put on the switch the power light, switch the light, when I get the knowledge that, oh, it is not a snake, it is rope, then only that experience of snake is negated by having the knowledge of, by having the experience of the rope. So when you have that knowledge and as well as experience of the rope, then only the experience of the snake was negated completely. So when the experience of the self happens, or the removal of ignorance happens completely, then only all these things make sense for us. But at right now, because of with good samskaras, with the good intentions and good understanding, if you feel that whatever the Vedanta or whatever the Upanishads are saying that is true, then we should hold on to the truth and we keep on practicing it. At some point of time, we will be able to experience the ultimate truth. Now, one more important point we have to understand is we don't attain liberation. We don't attain God realization actually, because according to the Advaita, we are self already. Only there is a thick cloud of ignorance, wrong understanding, that wrong understanding, prejudice, or misconception only has to be removed, that's all. So actually all our practice is what? To remove the ignorance. So it is negative in nature. I am not going to attain anything new, only I am trying to remove the ignorance, try to correct my perceptions, or try to remove the misconceptions. So this is the nature of moksha actually in Advaita Vedanta. So this is one of the important points probably I was thinking that I should tell you. When you understand this, probably will be able to understand the scriptures or scriptural ideas or the scriptural viewpoints. You'll be able to understand, and it will make sense for you, and it probably can create a good amount of interest in all of you to study. Otherwise, just it will be a hypothetical argument in your mind, or just out of belief or out of faith, you will be just reading the scriptures, or you'll be trying to read the scriptures. So that should not be. Now, coming to the today's subject, Drik Drishya Viveka. As you know, 16 verses we finished. 17th verse we are going to discuss today. From 13th verse onwards, the author started discussing what is the root cause. What is the cause or reason for our samsara? Samsara means the cycle of birth and death, which is the cause for our suffering, which is the cause for our ignorance. Now, one very important point the author is raising here: what is the role of scriptures? Why do we need scriptures? See, this is very important, and as I know, in every religion, when we compare to the whole world religions and the philosophies, Hindu philosophy and Vedanta philosophy is the only philosophy, or Hindu philosophy is the only philosophy which gives you enough freedom to question its own authority. Should I read scriptures? Do I need scriptures? What is the role of it? What is the necessity of it? It allows you to question of its own existence. And not only that, our philosophers, our saints, including Sri Krishna, they are bold enough to say that once you experience who are you or who am I, then you don't need scriptures. They are bold enough to say, they are Catholic enough, they are open enough to say that once you experience yourself, what are you, who are you, or who am I, then probably you may not need scriptures. They are sincere enough and bold enough to say this. Now, the question is, what is the role of scriptures? Now, why this question should come? So, by reading scriptures, what I'm going to get, what I'm going to achieve or attain, or whatever I'm going to achieve or whatever I'm going to lose. This is a question. Now, the fundamental question will come when you read, when you try to understand this basic point. If you go deep, you'll be able to get these doubts. Otherwise, it may not. Or just if you study the slokas and explanations, then you may not get it. Then you may think, where did Swamiji get this type of doubts? So this type of thinking, you may get it. When you go deep, only you'll get it, this type of doubts. And so I'm now, sowing these doubts in your mind, and I'll be answering, don't worry. Now, according to the Advaita, I am already self, and you are also already self. When I am self or when you are the self, then for realization, for the moksha, mukti for whom? Because I am already self, I don't need, or you are already self, tattvamasi, you are that self, then you don't need mukti, moksha, then why should I study scriptures? Or why should I attend Swami, your Drik Drishya Viveka class? Instead of that, let me go and have my time in my own way. Fine. Or otherwise, and no, because we think that we are body-mind complex, we are the embodied self, we are Jivatma. All these things, if it comes to picture, it comes to our mind, fine. But anyhow, the mukti is not possible for the embodied soul. Why? Because they are not real. The embodied itself, I mean, the moksha is not possible for embodied self. And also, I am Sakshi, ever free. So I don't need liberation, and liberation is not possible for body and mind. Then for whom the liberation is there? Whatever the scriptures are going to discuss, what is liberation, why should we attain liberation, how to attain liberation, all these things you are going to discuss, fine. But for whom this liberation is? If I think that I am body-mind complex, embodied self, Jivatma, for him it is not possible. And if I think that I am a Sakshi, seer number 3, Chaitanya, Atman, then for is already liberated person, is a free person. For him also there is no need of liberation. Then why should we study scriptures? So that's what the question may come, this doubt may come. For that, the author is answering now. Asya Jivatma Aropat Sakshini Api Avabhasate Avruttau tu Nishtayam Bede Bhate Api Bede Bhate Apayati Tat. Means the author is telling now, because see, we have got a wrong notion, that's why we have to correct it, we need scriptural study. The character of embodied self appears through false superimposition in the witness also. Just like we imposed the snake on the rope, which is a false superimposition. So, with the disappearance of the willing power, the covering power, the distinction between the seer and the seen becomes clear, and the jiva, the character of the embodied self, the role of the embodied self disappears. That's why we need scriptures, or we have to study scriptures. Means what they are telling, okay, the rope is real, I mistook it as a snake, then someone came and told, okay, that is a rope, my dear, that is not a snake. Then what happened? Because of wrong understanding, misconception, I was thinking it is a snake and I was getting frightened and whatever the reactions. The moment when I heard that, that is a rope, not the snake. And when the moment my doubt and ignorance has been removed, so all the fear got removed, isn't it? So the removal of ignorance is the play. The removal of ignorance, wrong notion, wrong perception, wrong thinking, the removal of all of them is what the play or the function of the scripture which is taken in everyone's life. Means because of the ignorance, we are thinking that I am the body, I am the mind, I am senses, I am thoughts, I am emotions, and I am so on and so forth. That's a wrong understanding, misconception, there's superimposition. In Vedanta, technically it is called dharmadhyasa. Like the body and mind are temporary, they are ever changing, and they have got a lot of limitations. All these characters I am superimposing on myself. So just for an example, because from 3-4 days there is a continuous weather fluctuation in us. This time we didn't have summer at all in the Ireland. Just a week we had. Otherwise, every day cloudy, rain, cloud, rain, cloud, rain. Even in the summer, our minimum temperature is 7 or 9, and maximum temperature is 18 or 19. And most of the time it is cloud and raining. And from 3-4 days, it is a lot of fluctuations happening. Maybe because of the weather fluctuation of whatever it may be. From yesterday, I'm feeling a bit cold and little body pain. And from morning onwards, I've got some body ache. That is the experience of everyone. That is not a big issue. Now, when we get cold, when we get body ache, there are some people starts thinking that as if they got body ache and they got cold and they'll be suffering, they'll be morose, they'll feel that they're, they have become weak, they can't work, they can't meditate, forget about meditation, even working and all these things. Now, that's what some people happen. For some people, though, they all feel weak and they feel not happy, enthusiastic because of cold and body pain or feverish, but because out of helplessness, they may be going for work. Now, the question should come till after attending Tattva Bodha and Drik Drishya Viveka, all of you, if you get a cold and body pain, you should start thinking, this cold and body pain is for whom? Yeah, I have got cold, I've got headache, I've got body ache, all these things fine. Yes, that's true. But that's for whom? Is it for me or is it for my body? So, of course, when we are suffering, it doesn't come easily. If you practice, you'll be able to get it. This is what practical Vedanta. When you start thinking slowly, analyzing and thinking, you will understand yourself that, yes, I've got a body ache, I've got a cold, I am feeling feverish. All these things are true. But for whom it is? It is for my body. Okay, so my body has got fever, my body has got cold, my body is feeling feverish, my body has got body ache. And I have not got any of them because I am neither the body nor the mind. The moment when you understand this itself, it gives a tremendous energy. You'll be able to meditate, you'll be able to do prayer, you'll be able to do on work. Your body may be suffering, but you will be happy. Your body may have got some limitations because of this health problem, but you will not have any limitations. So being a witness, when you practice witness, when you can practice even bit detachment from your body and mind, it gives tremendous energy. So to have that understanding, to have that firm conviction, and to translate this conviction into action, we need scriptural study. And you may have to attend my Tattva Bodha classes. For example, a seeker goes and he asks Ramana Maharshi. He says, look, I've got a lot of problems. How to overcome it? If we ask, we tell, oh, be bravery, problems are part of life. It is supposed to come and supposed to go. So you have to bear it. No one is spared. Rama had to face problems. Krishna had to face problems. Ramakrishna, Vivekananda had to face problems. So we have to face problems. It is a nature's creation. Just face it. Accept it and face it. Or try to solve it. So such type of examples and Upadesha teaching we give it. Ramana Maharshi said, okay, you are saying that I have got problems. What should I do to overcome it? Fine, isn't it? The seeker said, yes, he nodded his head. Then the Ramana said, who is having problems? The seeker said, I am having problems. Ramana asked, who is having problems? This fellow started feeling annoyed. I'm telling him very clearly. Then he thought probably he didn't hear. Then he raised his voice and he made slow also his speech. Sir, I am having problems. Ramana again asked, who is having problems? This fellow said, this fellow thought probably doesn't know what to say. That's why he's asking again and again the question. He repeated, I am having problems. Ramana, fourth time he asked, who is that I? Who is that I? Who is that I? Immediately that seeker got alarmed. Why is asking, who is that I? I. Because probably by that time he had bit studied Vedanta or philosophy or whatever, or Ramana's teachings. Then it was a flash of light for him. Yes, I am having problems means what? Whatever the problems may be, whatever the nature of the problem, that is for my body and mind, not for me, because I am the self. I am the Sachidananda. So I don't have problems. Body and mind has problems. So your approach will be from subjective approach to it becomes objective approach. The moment when it becomes objective approach, then you'll be able to keep yourself away from the problems, then you'll be able to analyze the problems and you'll be able to bring the solution and try to implement it. So to have this conviction in even day-to-day affair, we need Vedanta, we need Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads. Experiencing that self is still more. Our ignorance is not completely removed, but sort of intellectual conviction has come. I am not the body and mind, I am the self. So initially, we have to have that intellectual conviction, which is very, very important. Swami Vivekananda says always, we have been hypnotized as we are body and mind. We have to de-hypnotize ourselves that we are not body and mind. Now, what is the way out to de-hypnotize ourselves? By studying scriptures time and again, by practicing meditation, by practicing repetition of the Lord's name, or whatever the spiritual practices has been prescribed by the scriptures. By doing them, we'll be able to attain or will be able to remove the misconceptions or ignorance. And according to the Advaita Vedanta, all our others are prerequisites. They make fit student for you to study Advaita Vedanta. Through knowledge alone, you can get the moksha, and bhakti and karma yoga. All of them are supporting, auxiliary. This is the traditional Advaita Vedanta concept or philosophy or approach. Now, if we are the followers of Ramakrishna Vivekananda philosophy, we have got different approach. It means all the paths are independent. You can take either one or two or all of this. You can attain God realization or self-realization. And according to the Advaita Vedanta, they say first and foremost, you have to have sadhana chatushtaya, 4 prerequisites. I hope you all remember. Desire, intense desire for liberation, discrimination, what is real, what is unreal, nitya nitya vastu viveka. Then iyamutra palabhogadi viraga, that is dispassion towards the world and the other world's pleasures. Then the intense desire for liberation and the discipline, that is samadhi satka sampatti. When these 4 you have got, then you have to do shravanam. Shravana means what? It is a consistent effort. Not weekly once you attend Drik Drishya Viveka class and rest of the time you do whatever you want and you do whatever you think. No, there should be consistent effort daily as much as possible. Maybe half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours or whatever. We should keep on studying Advaita Vedanta or any scriptures. And there should be systematic study. Today you are Drik Drishya Viveka. After some time Tattva Bodha. After some time Saundarya Lahari. After some time Yoga Vasishta. Like that, many people, they do come with us. Swami, especially in the West, it is very common. They hear Sarvapriyanji lecture little. They hear Moji's lecture. They hear little Eckhart Tolle's lecture. They hear someone else's lecture, 5-10 people's bit by bit, and they get totally confused. And afterwards they come, Swami, we are, he says like that, she says like this, XYZ say like this, what is the right answer? They get confused. So there should be systematic study. Just like to become an engineer, from first standard, there is a prescribed syllabus. Step by step, we study, and then only we'll be able to finish our engineering. So similarly, when we study scriptures also, there is a systematic way of approach. If you follow that, you'll be able to understand the concepts in a better way. So Shravana means there should be consistent and systematic study of the Vedantic scriptures for the good amount of time under the able guidance, under the guidance of the able teacher. This is what Shravana. Now, after hearing these scriptures, if your ignorance has been removed, your misconceptions are removed, and you are able to put into practice the truth, then there is no problem. That is enough. Now, after hearing, still, you might have got intellectual conviction or still doubts lingering, and you are not, the experience of the self is not complete. You are not able to have it properly, or rather the ignorance has been not removed properly. Then the Advaita Vedanta says that you should go to Manana. Manana is what? Sort of reflection. It is a process by which questioning, by raising questions, by asking questions, by raising doubts, and cutting, just like cow, it swallows the fodder, and afterwards again it brings back from its stomach to mouth, and again it chews and it swallows. So once in Shravana, systematically you are hearing scriptures, statements, teachings, and again thinking on it. Time and again thinking systematically and trying to understand the depth of it. Understanding the real meaning of all these things and getting clarity about the truth, about the approach of the truth, what is the reality, how to understand and what it is not. All these things getting clear more and more. Means basically the intellectual doubts, intellectual knots has to be loosened or has to be untied. That is what. Nididhyasana is a Vedantic contemplation. Like for an example, Nainam chindhanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavakaha, nachainam kledayantyapo, nashoshayati marutta. Like where Nainam chindanti shastrani, the weapons cannot cut asunder. Nainam dahati pavakaha, the fire cannot burn. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, nachainam kledayantya, water cannot wet. Nashoshayati marutta, the air cannot dry. So we all hear this about this meditating. So weapons cannot cut, weapons cannot kill, destroy, water cannot wet, fire cannot burn. What it is then? So meditating on this type of, otherwise, kutastam, achalaha, sanatanaha. So that is sanatana, ancient. Kutastha, it is unchangeable. Nityam, it is eternal. Again, avyayam, no change in it. So these are the different, nature which has been described in the Upanishads and Gita regarding the self. So trying to meditate on that and trying to experience that self more and more. By experiencing self in the sense, removing the misconception or removing the ignorance. That's what. So that is what Nididhyasana. So when the ignorance is removed, then what happens? The body and mind may continue to exist till our prarabdha is there, but I will not have any more ignorance. I will not have any prejudice. I will not have any wrong conception, wrong idea, wrong notions or misconception. Just like thinking rope as snake, that will not be there. So to remove the ignorance, we need scriptures. And what are the scriptures? They are the treasure house of knowledge. So how the scriptures has been formed? It is nothing but the saints or the prophets or the incarnations or the rishis who have experienced the truth. They have, out of compassion for the disciples and for the spiritual seekers, they have told either in the prose form or in the poetry form, which benefits the humankind. Now, what is the cause? Okay, individual ignorance, because of that we are suffering and we are taking the birth and death and all, we came to know that. Now, what is the cause for this appearance of the world? Why the Brahman has been appearing? Brahman has been projected as the world. So the individual problem has been answered. Now the universal problem is being taken for the study or for the discussion. What is the universal problem? When a disciple goes and asks Sri Ramakrishna, in Taittiriya Upanishad, the Rishi says, Sokamayata bahusyam prajayayeti. It thought, Brahman thought, it seems. Brahman desired, Sokamayata, Brahman desired. What did he desire? Bahusyam prajayayeti, let me become many. So this, and then that's why so many beings, so many individuals have come into existence. This is what Upanishad says. So quoting this, one of the disciples asked, see, Brahman or Ishvara thought, let me become many. That's why we were all born. He thought and he is happy. He or she or it is happy, but we are suffering. So because Ishvara made a mistake, Brahman made a mistake, and we are suffering. What it is and how right it is. So this was the question asked by a student, by a devotee to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna's answer is simple and straightforward always. Sri Ramakrishna asked, who are you? Are you different from Ishvara? Tattvamasi? Then the devotee has to keep quiet. So these are only figurative expressions, thinking that how these things are formed and etc. etc. Basically, because of ignorance, one is appearing as many, many. So remove the ignorance, then the appearance will go away. The appearance will cease to exist. Now at the universal level, how this thing is happening? At the individual level, self or seer number 3, Sakshi plus Ajnana is what Jivatma, embodied self. That's why I'm experiencing all dualities and taking birth and death. Of course, Sukshma Sharira is taking birth and death, not the self. But I am what do you say? I've been bound. At least I am feeling that. Now, same thing. The Brahman plus Maya. Brahman plus Maya. Because of Brahman plus Maya, the world has been created. No, it has been projected. So how it is, what it is, let us try to understand in the 18th verse. Tatha sarga brahmanoscha bedam avrutya tishtati ya shakti tad vasad brahma vikrutatvena bhasate. What is Maya? What is the power of Maya has been discussed in this particular verse. Already I have mentioned this. Let us see. Brahman, through the influence of the power of Maya, it conceals the distinction between Brahman and the phenomenal universe, appears as if endowed with the attributes of change. So Maya has got two powers. One is Vikshepa Shakti, the other is Avarna Shakti. Vikshepa Shakti means it is power of projection. Avarna Shakti means it is power of covering, power of concealment. Now Brahman, with the help of Vikshepa Shakti, it is projecting the universe. Fine. And with the help of Avarna Shakti, it is covering its nature. So the rope, it covered, because of some reason or whatever, the rope was covered. So we didn't see the rope as rope, first point. And rope has been projected as a snake. That my mind has projected, we can think. So the rope has been projected as the snake. So the rope has been projected as conceived as the snake is what? Vikshepa Shakti. I didn't see rope as a rope because it was been covered with a veil of ignorance. That is what called Avarna Shakti. Now, I am not thinking that myself as the Brahman, as the self, as the Atman. Why? Because of Ajnana, because of Avarna Shakti, because of power of concealment. And at the same time, I am thinking that I am body and mind, or the Brahman is appearing as this world, Nama, Rupa, Jagat, the thing which is nothing but the name and form. That is what the power of projection. So when self-realization happens, when the ignorance is removed, what happens? This Avarna Shakti gets destroyed, but Vikshepa Shakti continues to exist. This is very, very important technical point. Avarna Shakti gets removed, destroyed. Means what? The power of concealment gets removed. Means the distinction between the Brahman and the non-Brahman, self or not self, the distinction is not there now. It has been confused. It has been mixed up. That clarity we will get it. But Brahman appearing as this mundane world, empirical world, that continues to exist. Maybe I'll give an example, then you'll be able to understand. Just I will give the example and I will stop. So we will take this important topic in the next class. You see, we had a beautiful experience of sunrise. We went to Kanyakumari. In the seashore, we had a beautiful experience of sunrise. We took the selfies, we took the photos, we put in the Facebook, WhatsApp status, all these things. And we went, we tried to know what the sunrise timing or sunset time, and we went half an hour, 1 hour before, and we were all watching intently to have the experience of sunrise or sunset. Wonderful. We took the photos, we shared our experience. We made reels probably. We shared with all friends and in social medias. We got a lot of likings, comments, prizes, emoticons, all these things. Fine. But don't we know that sun never rises nor sun never sets? We know, but still we enjoy it. But we may not be moved, we may not be disturbed by that, isn't it? But when people ask, really does sun rise? Small children may say yes, but all grown-up people, we all know that sun never rises, sun never sets. We know that, but still we see every day. As soon as we see, we keep on saying that sun rises and sun is setting, sun is rising and all. So sun is rising and sun is setting. That's what our experience says, though it is not true. Though it is not true that Vikshepa Shakti has been removed, that's why I know that it is not real. But still, because of the Vikshepa Shakti, because of the power of projection, it appears that sun is moving, sun is rotating, sun is moving from east to west, and that's why we are able to experience the sunrise and sunset. Just I'm giving a crude example. So, the Brahman appearing as this Jagat may not stop it, but at least the Satyatva Buddhi for this Jagat will stop the moment when I understand who am I, or the moment when I remove the ignorance, or when I am able to destroy the ignorance. That's what when Sri Ramakrishna saw the water, and how do I see the water? And Sri Ramakrishna saw the water. Does it appear same for both of us? Yes, it appears same for both of us. But he is able to see that Brahman, that energy, cosmic energy, the cosmic truth behind every object and behind every person. That's why they were able to accept sinners and saints alike. Holy Mother says, for me, Swami Shantivratananda, who was the greatest monk, Brahmagnani, and the Amjad, who was the thief, dacoit, both are one and the same. What does it mean? It is the greatest Advaitic truth, which Holy Mother has said. She is a great Advaitic, no doubt. How Swami Shantivratananda and dacoit, the Amjad can become same? In the day-to-day experience, in the day-to-day world, it cannot be same. One is a monk, is highly respected. The other fellow is a dacoit. Definitely is not looked, is not welcomed, is not, handled or respecting, cannot be done similar way. We will not be able to do it. But from the highest point of view, from the point of the highest truth, that is Brahman, the self, in both are nothing but the representation of the same self. Because in Swami Shantivratananda or in the dacoit, what is that inherent nature? What is the inherent truth? That is both are self or both are Brahman. So from that angle, Holy Mother said that I look both of them alike. That doesn't mean that even is Amjad, is a thief. So however we used to go and do pranam to Swami Shantivratananda as a monk, we also should go and do pranam for Amjad. They don't mean. In the empirical reality, these differences will exist, and we have to understand and we have to accept. Only from the transcendental point of view, from the ultimate reality, from the highest reality, all these differences will disappear. That we have to understand. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. Yeah, if you got any question, I'll be happy to answer. Looks like no answer, no questions. I think no doubts. Yeah, welcome.
Okay. So in the previous class, you were talking about the relationship between, say, like the mind and the Chidabhasa and things like that. So I also wanted to know, like you said, the relationship between the mind and Chidabhasa is natural, because that's a very natural relationship. That's what you had told. So I also wanted to know, what is the relationship between the Jiva and Ishvara? And also, what's the relationship between two Jivas?
Interesting. So, it is from now, sir, look, this interesting question, philosophical question. I am only speaking from the Advaita point of view now, for an example. Non-dualistic point of view. What is the relationship between Jiva and Ishvara? And if you ask, from Tattvamasi point of view, I am that. Means what? Essentially, I, the Jivatma or Atman, and you, that is Brahman or Paramatma or Supreme Self, both are one and the same. Now, how to understand this? I will give an example. I think I did explain, I think in your own class or in some other Vedantic class. Now, for example, there is a pond and there is a river, Tungabhadra river. Now, I will ask you, my dear, both are one and same or difference?
Yes, in the sense that they both contain water, they are same in that way.
Yes, you
But
are
in
right.
other ways, yeah.
Yes, you are right. Now, from the water point of view, the content point of view, the pond also has got maybe 200 or 300 liters of water. Now, Tungabhadra river has got millions of liters of water. But from the water point of view, both are one and same. But from quantity point of view, say for an example, now pond has got only 300 liters, Tungabhadra has got millions of liters point of view. From quantity point of view may not be same. So from the Brahman point of view, Satchit Ananda point of view, both are one and same. Now, Ishvara has got some more extra powers, like his Srushtikarta, Palanakarta, Pralayakarta, Sarvagna, Sarvavit, all these extra qualities, extra powers, which we say that it is only possible for Ishvara, not for Jiva.
Right.
So this, I think you could understand this.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So, but from a bhakti perspective, it will be different, right, Swamiji?
Yes,
So
right.
that the relationship changes in from the bhakti perspective. Okay.
Yes, see, but yes, you are right. Bhakti also, in what level you are saying from? If you read Bhagavata, in Bhagavata, gopis themselves, they used to feel many times themselves as Krishna. That's why Bhagavata teaches Advaita actually. Beautifully teaches Advaita. Very few people understands that. Gopis were able to feel and experience and think themselves as Krishnas many times.
Right.
Yeah. But generally in Bhakti, he's Prabhu, is Lord, and I'm servant, I'm son or daughter or friend or beloved. We think in generally.
And what about two jivas, Swamiji? What's the relationship between two jivas?
Yes,
Because
essentially. Now, for example, which I gave an example of Swami Shantivratananda and Amjad. Now, Swami Shantivratananda is a monk, direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna. He is a Brahmagnani, knower of the Brahman, such a saintly person, purest person. And Amjad, he comes from poor background, rural background, illiterate. He was a dacoit. He was a thief. Now, both are one and same or different. They are one and same. From which point of view? Both are nothing but both of them, the inherent nature, the inherent content of Swami Shantivratananda and Amjad is what? It is self only. It is Atman only. From that point of view, they don't have any difference. In Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that. How can you think that a person is Gnani or Brahmagnani or Sthita Prajna? One who sees the dog eater, one who sees the thief, one who sees the sinner and the saint or the knower of Brahman alike, then you can understand, you can know that he has attained the Brahmagnana or is the Gnani. Means because in all of them, the inner content, the inner real content is what? The self or the Atman, it is same. So all are equal. But in the dualistic world, now Swami Shantivratananda cannot do the work or the way he has done Amjad, and Amjad is not able to, at that given point of time, is not able to manifest the divinity, whatever Swami Shantivratananda has manifested. So there is a difference in manifesting the divinity at that given point of time in Shantivratananda and Amjad, but inherently both are divine, both are Atman, there is no difference.
Sure, Swamiji. Thank you. Swamiji, there's just one more question I have. So when you were talking about the concept of the seer and the seen, now in one instance, the sense organs are the seen and the mind is the seer. And in another context, the mind is the seen and the sakshi is the seer. Okay, so coming back to the first one, when the sense organs are the seen and the mind is the seer. So here the mind is experiencing the sense organs. But the sense organs, however hard they try, can never experience the mind. So it's like that. So, but when we
Yes.
come to this pair, when we come to the second pair, similarly, the Sakshi is experiencing the mind, but the mind can never experience the Sakshi. But
Yes.
all throughout in Jnana Yoga, the effort is we are putting in from the perspective of the mind to experience the Sakshi. So how is that possible, Swamiji?
Yeah, a very interesting point, very interesting question you raised, really very significant. That means you are really doing some homework, I can understand. Vedantic homework you are doing.
Thank you,
So how
Swamiji.
can we reach it? So here reaching the Atman or Brahman or the self through Manas is again negative in nature. Negative in nature, what I mean is, now I am trying to understand the self, seer number 3 or Sakshi, seer number 3, through seer number 2, that is mind.
Right.
Logically, if you ask, you'll be able to understand that it is not possible, because the seer number 3 is the higher realm of reality, higher realm of truth, higher truth. Seer number 2 is the lowest truth. How it can understand? It is beyond its comprehension, beyond its circumference. Yes, you are right. So through mind, how can we attain Brahmagnana? How can we attain the knowledge of Brahman is what? Because this mind is the reason for all my experience of duality.
Correct.
The mind is the experience, which is the culprit. It is making me to think that I am body, I am mind, I am so-and-so, I am son of so-and-so, I am daughter of so-and-so, I'm a monk, I am a celebrity, I am so-and-so, etc., etc. That means whatever the intellectual impurities, whatever the ignorance, misconceptions, wrong understandings, all of them belongs to mind only. That means
Correct.
now by studying scriptures, by hearing Vedantic talks, and by doing all the spiritual sadhanas, what you are trying to do? You are trying to train your mind, regulate your mind, control your mind, clean your mind. Means what? You are trying to remove all types of impurities which belongs to your mind. Once that is been removed, what happens? Then the instrument called mind becomes very pure. Once it becomes very pure, that means what? The reflection of the light will be as it is. Now, for an example, the glass, because of some cooking, regular cooking, a thick layer of oil has been formed. So it is a light yellow color tint has been formed on the glass. That's why I don't see the sunlight as it is. I feel the sunlight is yellowish in color. But once I remove it from using acid and soap water and etc., etc., once I remove it, all the dirt, and when I make that mirror proper glass clearly, then I get the reflection. When I get the sunlight as it is. Isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Swamiji.
Because, see, for an example, and also one more important point we have to think. In the samadhi, even in the sushupti you take, in the deep sleep, you had got relaxation without any effort. Why? Your body and mind is not there. Your senses and mind, especially your body is taking rest, fine. Your mind is at rest, your senses are at rest. So you are not experiencing any duality.
Correct. Yes.
Whereas the moment in dream, the moment in waking state, your mind becomes active and all types of experience are there. So that has to be taken care. So when there is no body and mind, when only self is there, it is aware of itself. It doesn't need anything else to become aware, because it is the awareness of itself. But we are always trying to know. It is very simple and very strong and very subtle point you have to think. We always, when we say awareness, we say awareness of what? Awareness of knowledge. When I say I am knowledge itself, essence of knowledge, or I am knowledge, I think knowledge of what? So of what? Something, some object I'm always anticipating. Just a minute. Yeah, sorry, some visitor came. So we are always thinking awareness of what? Knowledge of some what? Because some object we are thinking. So when you clean the mind, you will get the maximum reflection as it is, first point. That means what? The removal of ignorance has been achieved, first point. Second thing is, when you left with awareness, you don't need anything else to be that. It is self-luminous, it is self-aware, it is knowledge itself. So these 2 points also you have to understand jointly, then only you'll be able to understand the concept incomplete, I mean to say.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Yeah.
Pranam Maharaj.
Namaste.
Maharaj, in the concept of Avarana and Vikshepa, Maharaj, you gave the example of Swami Sharadanandaji and Amjad. That Maharaj, if I take Sharadanandaji as the enlightened person, and in whom the Avarana Shakti has been removed,
Yes.
will he see the Amjad as the consciousness of the Amjad, as the consciousness of him only, in duality sense?
No. See, Avarana Shakti is not there, means that when he sees as an Amjad, in the dualistic experience in the empirical world, he treats him as an Amjad, and whatever he is supposed to speak, whatever he is not supposed to speak, however he is supposed to speak, he will do all the things. But is not carried over just by body's mind. He doesn't, for him, there will be no notion that Amjad's body and mind is real, or more than that, his body and mind is real. So for us now, the self and non-self, self and body, mind has been, everything is getting mixed up with us. Whereas the person, for a Brahmagnani like Swami Shantivratananda, the Avarana Shakti is not there, means what? He knows in reality that he is a self, not the body and mind. Do you understand?
Ha, Maharaj. But in the Amjad case, the consciousness will be the consciousness of Amjad, the Brahman.
There is no Amjad's consciousness and Shardananda's consciousness. There's only one consciousness. Only the reflecting medium is different for Swami Shantivratananda and Amjad, that's all.
Okay, but
So the reflection of consciousness, the consciousness of Amjad, the consciousness of you, the consciousness of me, and the consciousness of Swami Shantivratananda, there are no 4 consciousness. There are no 4 Atmans. There's only one Atman, but only 4 reflecting mediums.
Okay, Maharaj. That is the Vikshepa Shakti.
No.
Medium will be.
4 reflecting mediums are nothing but 4 minds. That is what.
Okay, Maharaj. Okay. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, then I think that's all today's questions, I believe.